Hey there, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another Fearless Games podcast. Today I am the Stark Lord, and here with me are...
Matt the Clown.
James the Wildcard.
Where are the drugs going?
And Batman, apparently. There are no drugs anymore, I already told you this.
Swear to me.
We don't swear on this channel.
Do I look like a cop?
No. No, you don't.
Wait, really?
Really, cops don't have pointy ears.
But
You don't know that.
I was told they wear all black with a giant bat symbol on their chest.
No, that's in Gotham. This is New York. I can see the confusion.
Hey, hold the phone. Well, I'm holding the phone. You guys aren't. But
My phone's somewhere else.
Today on the Star Lord, you're always the Star Lord.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I kind of messed up the intro as I always do. I was going to say, today I'm with, and then I'm like, oh, I didn't say who I was.
Okay, so I need to say something real quick. I'm sitting in the room with Stark Lord here because we were hanging out beforehand, and there's an ever so slight delay in his audio coming through into my headphones.
I'm having the same issue.
And so it's actually making me dizzy.
Yeah, I keep hearing you in a space.
You need to stop talking for the rest of this podcast.
You too.
Why don't you go into another room?
Because I'm more interested. Because
no, you need to
I'm
stop.
not going to go into another room.
No, I'm telling Stark Lord to go into another room.
He's not going to go into another room. He's lazy.
Furthermore, there's already 2 mats on there. I don't need a 3rd mat in my ears also, so you should leave.
Yeah, no, that's not
Wait.
good.
Wait. Third?
Where's the third one?
The echo.
Oh.
Because we
echoes are people?
Yes. Did you not get the memo on that?
No, apparently I didn't.
Apparently not.
Well, that being said, I've been having this burning sensation, this burning question for you all.
Did a doctor look at it for you?
I can't. Don't let Stark Lord look at it. He's not a real doctor.
I'm not a real doctor, but I did save a lot of money at a Holiday Inn this weekend.
Nice.
No,
That's the
You
way
really
to do it.
messed that with a Geico commercial, you idiot.
No,
Whatever.
yeah, you're just supposed to say no, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Oh. Well, it was Thursday.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Stayed in the Holiday Inn Express on Thursday?
Yeah.
Was it an Express or just a Holiday Inn?
I think it was a Holiday... You know what? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
It's important. That's critical.
Check back with us.
I'll text my cousin.
Look it up, yeah. Text him right now.
Right.
So what was your burning sensation?
It was deep and down below. But the point is, since, the vet and I, and some people saw the Star Trek movie, which that's not the movie I want to talk about, but that brought up a thing that I forgot to talk about a long time ago. So, we have Star Trek vessels, and we also brought up Star Wars at the same time with the vessels and whatnot. And I'm going to throw in BFG because of Rise of the Magi with those vessels. I know we don't really have real, size comparisons, but what do you all think is the size comparison, let's say, between the Enterprise, a Star Destroyer, and a battleship from the Imperial fleet of BFG?
There is an actual size comparison between them.
No, there was one at some point. I always thought it was the 40K had the biggest, dumbest, over-the-top size ships. And then
they do.
Star Trek and Star Wars, I don't know what a Star Destroyer size-wise is in comparison with, say, the Enterprise. I figured we can make this real nerdy by starting this off right with that.
Hold on, I'm going to look
so
up.
Wait,
I'm already on it.
What's the question again?
How big is
what do you
all
think?
3 ships compared to each other?
Yeah, if you had to rank them, how would you put the different
You're
universes?
asking the wrong guy. I don't know. They're about the same
well,
size.
Well, for me personally, I would definitely say that a BFG ship is bigger than the Enterprise because the Enterprise torpedoes are no bigger than a man, and the torpedoes on a Battlefleet Gothic ship are the size of skyscrapers.
Well,
that's
the
the
Empire's
bombardment
compensating.
cannon.
That's just inefficient payload, man.
That's the Empire compensating. That's all.
No, and so I'd have to say that a BFG ship is bigger just for the sheer fact that they hold a lot of those torpedoes, and they can't be as big as an Enterprise ship to fit all those.
Now, the reason I threw this up here is because when we did the whole had the whole stupid Star Wars or Star Trek thing with the miniatures. I was just, it popped in my head a couple hours later. I'm like, wait a minute, are they even the same size? So let's say the Star Destroyer dwarfs an Enterprise. That means the Star Destroyer, you know, if you're putting size in terms of the payload where they're fighting, size matters in space.
It does. I'm just going to tell you right now, the Galaxy class and the Sovereign class, which are about the same size, are about half the size of a Star Destroyer, give or take.
Which version of a Star Destroyer?
Looking at a Imperator class.
Okay, an Imperial class?
Yeah.
Okay, so the standard size, the medium size.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's the big size Star Destroyer.
That's the big one. That's not a Super Star Destroyer. Super Star Destroyers are almost the size of a Borg cube. They're
yeah, and so I would say that a BFG ship is fairly close to a Super Star Destroyer.
I have seen the comparison before, and it is. The BFG ships are ridiculously large.
Yeah, so I mean, I just figured we'd make this nerdy, and of course the Fearless Gamers can put their input. Speaking of Borg cubes, I just love I wish I could be, or at least see like a recording or an audio recording of the design team for designing Borg vessels. Like, well, let's see. Just make it a box. Who cares? No, we'll make it a cube.
Well, before you continue, I'm sorry. While I was doing the size comparison search for Star Wars versus Star Trek, I just found a Photoshop picture of Kirk making out with Leia, and it's wonderful.
Terrible.
It's great. It's really well done. Anyways, going back to it.
I'm convinced that the Borg cube was created because the guy was sitting there going, okay, how's the ship going to look? How's the ship going to look? And the guy comes in with a Rubik's Cube and was like, bam! 5 seconds, brother! And he's like, a cube! That's what I'm
honestly, they went the right way and said, what's the most alien form for us in science fiction? What's the perfect symbol of, like, structure and unity and mechanism? And
wouldn't a sphere be more of unity? It has no edges.
It's also a lot harder to make a sphere model. Come on.
Yeah, well, they did have the sphere in the movie, but
eventually, yes, they had that in the 9th movie.
But I mean, a geometric shape. Star Destroyer is just a slice of pizza. They were eating pizza one day and went to make an awesome ship. So, I mean, geometric shapes aren't that alien. I guess in the Star Trek universe.
Well, the Death Star 2 is just a broken plate that George Lucas's wife dropped.
Not funny.
Yeah, that might be the worst joke I've heard all week.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's like crazy stuff like that, you never know where they're going to come, so the Star Destroyer may have come from a slice of pizza.
Now, what do you think? If it came from a slice of pizza, was it cheese pizza? Did it have pepperonis? Or what type of toppings do you think it might have had?
Well, clearly it had pepperoni because it's awesome.
And also, I had those variations where that one Star Destroyer had like the gravity wells in it. Was that one like the ball sausage topping? It's like, you know what? Let's make it a triangle with spheres in it.
No, it's clearly the ham and pineapple because you can't get away from that one.
Oh, you're talking about the Interceptor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gravity bubble that pulse ships out of hyperspace, which is a nasty thing to have.
I just want to say, what were they thinking with the Titan?
With the what?
They were thinking, let's put a TIE fighter on the ground. How do?
It's so bad.
Oh yeah, the TIE tank. We don't talk about the TIE tank.
It's so bad.
It really is.
Any Fearless Gamers don't know that, do an image search for the TIE tank and you will find it.
Basically, it's a TIE fighter, but on the sun foils they put tank treads.
Yeah, because it's awesome. Because everything should be tie-shaped, apparently.
Well, I will have to say this. I do think it looks a lot cooler than like an X-Wing and stuff like that. It just looks so it looks kind of futuristic, it's just like massive sun foil things.
Well, of all the Star Wars ships, my personal favorite is the TIE Interceptor and then the B-Wing. They're my favorite.
Yeah, wings are awesome.
The TIE Interceptor is probably my favorite too.
I mean, the TIE Interceptor is the only Star Wars ship that I have a model of. I don't remember where I put it, but I have it somewhere, and I love that thing, because the TIE Interceptor is the coolest thing ever.
After that, if I was on the Rebel side, it would be the Y-Wing.
I flew the Y-Wing a lot in XVT.
Truck.
Yeah, I mean, in
like a Mack truck ability.
In all the flight sims, I always went with the Y-Wing, because the B-Wing was not available, because the Y-Wing's pretty sick, and it's the closest you can get to it, but the B-Wing's the best. I don't care what anyone says.
Well, in one of the Rogue Squadron games you could play.
Didn't like the Rogue Squadrons, it wasn't XVT. It's not XVT, it's not good.
Oh, you're one of those purists? You're one of those purists? You're going to go and watch your fan subs now?
Yep.
Nothing wrong with fan subs. Hold on, there's nothing wrong with fan subs.
I'm not saying there's something wrong with fan subs. I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of people out there, like, if they find out you watch a dub version, well, then you're not watching the show.
Well, you might not be. With a lot of the earlier dubs, they really butchered the theme and intent. It's gotten better.
I'm still watching the show.
But I'm just saying, you know, there are people, like, a good example is, like, you know, like, say, like, the Dragon Ball Z group. If you don't watch it in Japanese, then you're not watching Dragon Ball Z.
Look, as long as they're punching each other while flying, you're watching DBZ, and it doesn't really matter.
But I'm just
saying, I want
everybody
to take that to heart, no matter what you're watching.
Or anything like that. I was just making, you know, a broad statement about stuff, about how people can get very antsy about that type of stuff.
Oh, yeah. They easily can, but I just want, for the record, Starflip said, as long as they're punching people while flying, you're watching DBZ. So when you were watching that Matrix movie, it was really DBZ.
You are
watching anything else.
That's clearly Goku versus Vegeta with black coats.
Hey, it's better than how it was in the game ending.
With the robot Smith giant.
Don't.
Yeah, like,
why would you? Don't. Why? Why would you?
This needs to be known. If you don't know what happened in the past, you're going to repeat it in the future. Everybody needs to know.
He's got a point there.
I just want you guys to know that little thumping sound is Matt hitting his head against a microphone.
Good. There is a bumping sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
He hates all of us and is very unhappy.
Do that. God, I thought I was going to be able to enjoy this.
And I brought up Mecha Smith.
No, James brought up Mecha Smith.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's not just Mecha Smith. It's like Mecha Fusion Smith, because they all come together to become a mighty Voltron Smith.
Do.
Don't ruin Voltron more than I just did.
I love Voltron. You cannot ruin Voltron.
You can when you bring it up with Mega Smith.
No, you can't, because Voltron would show up and use his blazing sword to cut it in half.
I just love the name. It's a sword.
Yeah, it's the blazing sword. They smack their line fists together and say, form blazing sword to get a sword. They chop things in half, and it's awesome.
And it blazes.
It blazes. That's why it's got like 4 flukes at the end of it, and it's cool looking. What, I love Voltron. Stop looking at me like that.
And other things also, just as it's going, it looks like GW has made an announcement that this weekend the Eldar are coming out for pre-order.
Yep.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to buy my collector's edition codex.
Nope, Eldar suck.
It's about time that you buy one. So, it's good.
Hey, and just so you know, Stark Lord, that means when they do come out, you're going to be crying since they're going to out-Tau the Tau, because they're the original.
They're not the original Tau.
Yeah,
they're not the original Tau. The Tau abhor combat. They're not the original Tau at all.
No, see, the Tau came in to be like, we're like Eldar, we're all high-techy aliens. You know, they tried to just rip us.
No.
Tau are about tech. Eldar is mysticism. That's not really tech.
It's future tech with psychopaths.
All I can say is hokey religions and superstitions are nothing compared to a pulse rifle by your side, okay?
Until that hoax religion stops your pulse rifle blast.
Listen, all of you, listen. Can we just talk about how racist it is that Johnny Depp is playing Tonto in the Lone Ranger movie?
Well, he is part Indian.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since when?
He's always been.
Part everything, apparently.
Don't you know this?
Can I just say, he does that really stereotypical Native American voice, like from the classic movies, really dead on.
Yeah.
Hold
it's
on.
really not that hard to do that voice.
I don't believe this.
I know, but it just makes me happy that he's doing it. I don't know why.
From what I've read, he is part Native American. That's why they picked him. Aside from the fact that he sells tickets.
The more famous you get, the more things you magically.
Okay. No. Johnny Depp has stated that he believes he has Native American ancestry.
Okay.
That's different from actually.
I'm glad you're not the main guy.
Then the person then the information source I got that from took that line and twisted it to say he does have it.
Which is normal.
Like his actual quote is, "I guess I have some Native American in me somewhere down the line."
So that's a big negative.
Oh,
there.
Like,
right.
it's... Like...
It's whatever. I'm just glad he's not the freaking main guy again, you know?
Yeah, he's not the Lone Ranger. I can appreciate that.
Speaking of that, they already are starting production on another Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Well, yeah.
You know, it makes the money and whatever.
Look, I don't know. The last one was great.
Pirates of the Caribbean is slowly becoming the next Air Bud.
I thought you were going to say it's Star.
That's a franchise that grew like cancer and went in a completely different direction than I think anybody expected.
It went from a dog that was just magically good at sports to
it wasn't
talking
necessarily magically good at sports. It was just a dog
that was trained to hit a ball.
Right, and then like
put into every single sport involving a ball.
Dude, it went beyond that. They did hockey.
They went to space.
I never knew.
They went to space. They went to hockey. They went to Santa.
They did.
Yes, well, no, I know that.
Santa's involved.
It started out okay. He's good at basketball. Okay, now he's good at soccer. Now he's good at football.
It's
and
not
now
the same
he's
dog
got
every
kids
time.
that talk.
It's not the same dog every time.
Okay.
That doesn't make it okay, but
no,
it doesn't make it any better. It just means there's a group of highly advanced trained dogs. Each one has got a specific task to be better than humans in. And we should be careful and prepare for when they try and take us over.
Were these dogs were part of the Ein project in Cowboy Bebop? Then?
No, they're just Hollywood trained.
These dogs are part of the Rebel Alliance of the traitors.
Take them away.
What just happened?
We somehow went
I put in the look in the chat box. You'll understand why Stark Lord is suffocating.
16.
Suffocating?
40.
You say he's suffocating? You should take the saran wrap off of his mouth.
No. I did. He did this. I did this. Not like that. No, you're not.
My computer is very delayed, so I'm not seeing it.
Really, random thing. So at my side job today, I was walking towards the packing area from the lab. James and Matt know what I'm talking about. And there was a sign with Professor Oak on it. It said, "Wait, before you go outside, take one of these." And it had some Bulbasaurs and Charizards and Squirtles on the bottom, like be ripped off like you do to get like music lesson kind of thing. But some of them are already ripped off. And I looked over at one of the other guys, and I'm like, oh man, but all the good ones are gone because someone had taken all the Squirtles.
Did you grab me a Bulbasaur?
I would have, but it was in the lab, and I'm not bringing anything contaminated back to you. I thought about it.
I
actually have a story about him. Back in high school, I had a little plastic Bulbasaur that...
You still have a plastic Bulbasaur, don't lie.
Well, actually, that's part of the story. But I lost that plastic Bulbasaur, which I was very fond of, in a Yu-Gi-Oh match.
What?
Okay.
Stop doing this to me, Matt.
I put another adorable thing in the chat box. But so I lost this Bulbasaur in a Yu-Gi-Oh match. And for years I kind of regretted it, and I was trying to find another one, but I couldn't find the same one, and all the other plastic Bulbasaurs looked like garbage. And it turned out it was just like it was a 1990s plastic figurine that they stopped production on it. So a couple weeks ago, Robin and I are in the city, and I don't know how it came up. We were talking about Pokemon, and I was talking about how I wish I still had it because I want to put it on my desk at work. And within 5 minutes of a little bit of I googled it to find which one it was to show her that it looked legitimately better than every other Bulbasaur. And within 5 minutes on eBay, she's like, found it. So I don't really know where this story is going, but I'm really excited that I have my plastic Bulbasaur back. It's not the same one.
I think that's where I was going.
It's not the same exact model, but it's the same product.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I like that they're Pokemon of choice.
Oh, I bought a couple of Pokemon decks, so that Stark Lord and I can have our Pokemon battle properly.
Yeah, we will duel it out in card form.
Oh, you're going to have an actual Pokemon battle?
We're just going to do it via the card game.
You got to do all the special regulations. None of those super powered cards or anything like that.
We're just doing it on the basic pre-cons that I bought. We're not getting fancy yet.
Dude, we're real Poke trainers here. We don't believe in regulations.
I'm making a joke about past.
Don't listen. Eric is dumb. He knows who he is if he listens. Eric, you're dumb. You're dumb.
But if you're not, if you're going, who me, then no.
I didn't hear a word you just said.
For any of your gamers who may be named Eric, if you're confused, then it's not you.
Yeah, exactly. If you're Eric, and then like you're like, wait, what? And like you and I have never met, it's not you.
For those who are not aware, we had a friend that we went to college with.
It's kind of tough calling.
No, I'm talking about something not totally different.
Oh.
And he decided to get into the Pokemon card game with a bunch of the friends at school.
Okay. This is exactly what I was talking about, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm explaining to the Fearless Gamers.
Right, but you just said you were talking about something different.
No, I was talking about a different person, not Eric.
You're not talking about Eric?
No.
All right, go on.
And so this guy, he sits down, he's like, okay, and watching, and he's like, okay, and he builds a deck, and he's a Magic player, so he builds really awesome decks.
Oh, you're talking about Alex.
Yes. And so he goes in, and he plays the game, and he schools everyone, because his deck is built to win. The very next day, he goes to the Pokemon group, and they're like, oh, we have a couple of new rules that we're doing. He's like, okay, lay them on me. And he's like, okay, this card, this card, this card, this card, and this card are banned. And it was all the cards in his deck.
Well, there was also... Didn't Eric put together a tournament that had a rule that Alex just couldn't play?
No.
I could have sworn that was one of the regulations of one of the tournaments. Like that. I'm pretty sure Alex flat out told me that once, that Eric basically said he can't play.
I have not ever heard that one. That's news to me.
Well, either way, it's not something I'd put past Eric. And isn't that why he built Silverman's deck for him, and then Silverman won? And Eric was mad butthurt.
I do not remember.
Yeah, I do remember that Alex was forced not to play in a tournament of some card game or other once, so he built Silverman a deck, taught Silverman how to play that deck, and then Silverman completely schooled that tournament, and Eric, the guy who put the tournament together, was really, really, really upset about it. Because he had picked the prizes basically for himself.
Mm.
It all started when Eric, myself, I think Felicia and Justin all just decided to casually get into the Pokemon card game. And I built a deck that was okay. It was casual. It wouldn't have won any tournaments. But then I managed to find this one Magneton. James, you'd like this because it's Magneton. I managed to find a Magneton that was capable of just shooting your crappy benched Pokemon for 50-something damage. And that's just how I'd win. I'd never actually get into open combat. I'd just snipe your dudes on the bench. And so then they were nobody wanted to play one-on-one with me because I kept winning. And then they'd be like, no, let's do 4-way, free-for-alls. And then by turn 3 I'm gone because everyone would gang up on me, and then they'd just play normally. Yeah. And then it just started to get more and more like that every time, no matter what I did. I'd bring a new deck, and they'd just do that again. And I'm pretty sure it was Eric behind it, because Eric kind of did that kind of stuff. And so that's why I stopped playing for years, and that's why I'm excited for this game with the Stark Lord, because he's... What the heck was... Okay, is anyone else hearing... I opened something with an ad, I'm sure. Hold on.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, on a side note, speaking of just fun things from college, so there's this fable that has been debunked for me and Matt now. I sent him a text with a picture of it over the weekend. So I went with my cousin to pick up my younger cousin from college on Thursday. We drove up to Fredonia, which is in the middle of nowhere, if anyone cares. Sorry if anyone lives out there, you live in nowhere. Anyways. So we're up there, and we're sitting in a wing place, because we're near Buffalo, so there's wing places everywhere. And on the menu is a thing called provolone sticks.
Oh god! I honestly almost threw myself out of a window. I genuinely almost killed myself.
I remember that.
So back in college, there was this guy. We won't mention his name. It's fine.
His name is Ted.
Wow. Anyways,
he's just like throwing out all anonymously.
For his last name, and that's fine. We don't mention the whole name.
Yeah.
But Seth, one time, actually got into a fight with the cafeteria staff at the school because he refused to believe they didn't have provolone sticks, because they used to always have provolone sticks.
Here's the thing: in our school cafeteria, that was never an item that was on the menu.
Well,
provolone sticks were never featured anywhere. He just got it in his head.
That wasn't provolone.
No, what it is in the downstairs in the Ratskeller area, there were provolone sticks.
When?
And his logic was, there's a fryer at the burger place, so the fryer can fry provolone sticks.
No. The thing is, there were never...
There's only mozzarella sticks on Hofstra campus.
There is no provolone sticks anywhere on Hofstra campus is the thing.
The thing is, we made fun of...
He was just wrong.
We were also saying that provolone sticks do not exist, because, frankly, I had never seen them, and I eat at a lot of places. They don't exist in Southern New York. I've never even heard of them existing, and then this last Thursday when I was sitting in this place, I saw them on the menu. I'm like, I can't believe this is a real thing. I thought it was completely just a mistake, but now they actually exist. And by the way, they taste almost exactly like mozzarella sticks.
Yeah, frankly, which is why he most likely assumed that the mozzarella sticks were provolone sticks.
No, Seth was just dumb.
He was genuinely being dumb.
Like you said, mozzarella sticks did exist. They were in the downstairs cafeteria.
Yeah, but the thing is, they also existed upstairs. But he was asking for provolone. He wasn't looking for mozzarella. He was looking for provolone, and he totally meant...
Don't get Italian pronunciation on us.
But his logic...
mozzarella and his provolone. End of story.
The sad thing is his logic behind it was because of the French fry fryer at the burger spot upstairs. Because that French fryer was back there, then they must make them.
The thing is,
that's a bad logic.
Sure you could get mozzarella sticks from the burger place.
You could, and he was
You could get provolone because there were no provolone sticks on campus anyway.
I remember this fight because I was with him for this fight after he was explaining it to me. I'm like, no,
why
dude.
Did you slug him?
Like downstairs. This is after he had the fight. And he was complaining.
Oh god.
And he's like, I was upstairs. And I was asking for provolone sticks. I'm like, they don't have provolone sticks. They have mozzarella sticks. And he's like, that's what the lady said. But they've always had provolone sticks. No, that's for the provolone sticks. And he was going on for like a half hour, which after he already had a half-hour fight with the lady about it. Like, she was like, we have mozzarella sticks rule in the weight. And he's like, no,
here's the burning question.
To hear him tell it, she got like really nasty and insulting, which I believe,
and he
deserved.
This, though. Provolone sticks. How would you put that into your brain and not just ask for fried cheese or mozzarella sticks? Like, what happened to him at some point in going to ask? So he's like, provolone sticks. That's obviously what everything's called. Like,
I don't know. The guy's an idiot. That's what.
I don't know.
Well, okay. Let's not forget that this same person, he wasn't around for a semester. He shows up, and the first day he shows up, he sees me, and he goes, hey, and I say, okay, hey, I gotta go real quick, because my wallet went missing. Okay, so my wallet was gone. And it had all my money, it had my ID, it had everything. So it had my credit card. I was running around trying to find this. 20 minutes later, thankfully, I found my wallet. It was lying on the floor in one of the labs, and I come back downstairs, and he goes, you know, you were very rude to me. I was like, what? It's like, I said, hello, I haven't been here for a semester, and you just brushed me off. I was like, I'm sorry, you know, I lost my wallet. I was freaking out. I had to find my wallet. That's no excuse to not stop and say hello to me, was his response to that.
Yeah, this guy was a real piece of work.
Remember the Milky Way incident?
No.
We were in a sci-fi game.
Uh-oh.
And just so everyone is aware, the way that the sci-fi game was run, they started on Earth. And
not Earth 2?
Everyone said... Well, no, just on Earth.
Are you sure it's not Earth 2? No.
Just let him tell the story.
And so the guy goes, so where is this place located? He goes, okay, you have to go, it's along the Milky Way. Now, the guy was referring to the strip of the Milky Way you see when you look up in the sky. Okay? They had a whole argument with me going, but we're in the Milky Way. And I said to him, he's referring to the trail you see when you look in the sky. And he had a 20-minute argument about how my sentence made no sense.
Well, technically, they're right.
Technically, yes, we are in the Milky Way. But when I said to him, he's referring to the strip of stars you see when you look in the sky.
So you're referring to that one arm of the Milky Way that we can see?
Yes. Yeah, the one I said to him is like, he's talking about when you look up into the sky and they go, look, that's the Milky Way. That's what he's referring to. And he had a 20-minute argument about how we're already in the Milky Way.
Yeah,
and I said to him,
the Milky Way galaxy. But that you can clearly see, like when you look up at the sky and you see that, you've always considered that's the Milky Way right there. That's part of the Milky Way. That's the sector of the Milky Way you were referring to. It's not that hard to figure out and deal with.
And then there was the vampire thing.
Well, no, let's save the vampire story for another night.
I can't.
Oh, the vampire thing was hilarious.
No, I said I can't.
We'll save it for a different podcast. Let's talk about something else.
Oh God, I'm just getting nauseous thinking about this kid.
Anyway, I got a question again, because I ask questions and we answer them. That's how it rolls.
We don't have answers.
What's your take on the idea of rivet counters and wargaming? Now, for the first gamers who don't know, rivet counters is a term for people who are super detailed and get everything 100% accurate as possible in model making for scale models. You know, if the car had a distributor cap and the model didn't have it on there, they would buy an aftermarket piece to make the distributor cap. Or if the tank was modeled incorrectly, they'll modify it so that tank, let's say a Sherman tank, looks 100% accurate with the correct markings and weathering and camouflage even. Which is all well and good. You know, I'm all about making things as, you know, proper as you want. But what are people's take on that in wargaming? Now, you can do it in Flames of War. Flames of War is a good example. Since it's such a small scale, I wouldn't be bothered putting real unit rankings and markings on infantry because you really can't. But in other games that are sci-fi or fantasy related, what's your take on rivet counters in those games? I've spoken with some of them back when I used to go to one of the game stores on Long Island, and I see stuff on the web about it. And what I've seen is stuff like, well, you know, this Empire soldier, or footman or whatever it is, the armor's all wrong for the period, blah, 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 stuff like that. And, you know, what's your take on the idea of rivet counting, is what it's called?
Wait a minute. So people would complain that fantasy armor does not match the fantasy time period that's loosely based on? People have complained about that, and then people have complained about, I'll just use Space Marines as an example. You know, I know the For example, with Space Marines, the Raven Guard. The Raven Guard had one shoulder pad that had shoulder trim painted a different color depending upon if it's tactical, assault, or devastator. And in all honesty, Games Workshop pretty much stopped doing that. If you look at the Space Marine Codex on these Raven Guard pictures, you're not going to see a Raven Guard detachment with different colors for that shoulder trim. When people get real sticklers about it, and it's like, it's not a real Raven Guard army unless you do it right, or Ultramarines use their shoulder trim to denote company. And unless you look really hard at some of the pictures, all of them have gold trim. There's only a few that show examples of third company, fourth company. So, you know, they get real upset about stuff like that. You know, kind of dumb stuff, but at the same time, trying to, like, I think the idea was trying to make people aware so they can do it quote-unquote right. But is there really a right when it comes to wargaming? To a point, if you're going to paint Dark Angels, it's not painting the green, obviously. So what's your take on the idea of real on rivet counting?
Just because I like to talk and hear myself speak. First off, I know actual apprentice and not so apprentice armorers. I've talked to many times, and they do that. You know, Biz just said that people really do that, and armorers really do call out fantasy armor for their inaccuracies constantly. Except for Lord of the Rings, they all love that stuff for some reason.
There's a difference between calling it out for making wrong. There's a difference between calling it out because you're trying to make reproductive armor, reproduction, not reproductive. Maybe it will reproduce. The point is, it's different from that in a war game.
Yeah, but like they, a lot of them, really, they will look at like a war game and they'll say like, those guys are wearing the wrong armor for the fake time period they're in, even that. But anyways, like people really do that. I'm just getting that out. But yeah, I mean, it's frankly, you paint your army how you want to paint it. If someone else has a problem with it, they can go, you know, whatever to themselves.
Yeah. That's exactly what I feel too.
If you're going to sit down and take the time, though, to get every detail right, you should feel good about that if you want to. Like, if you want to get the Raven Guard as precisely as it's stated they look in 2nd edition, which I'm sure is different from how they're stated in 6th edition, that's great. Mad props to you. Show off. Tell everyone you even got this detail right according to this subject matter. But, I don't see anything initially wrong with it. Obviously, you're going to see more of that in things like Flames of War, where people will try to get the right camouflage patterns for the time period occasionally, and that's cool for them. But I don't think you have to do that.
There's nothing wrong with it. I just, like, if I were to put down one of my armies, and someone were to come over and be like, that's inaccurate because the Blood Angels don't look like the those guys, I'd probably just sort of go, okay. Do you. I'd probably be impressed with someone else's army if they really went to that extent. If I even picked up on it, like they'd probably have to point it out to me because I wouldn't notice. Yeah. But as long as you're not going to be a jerk about my army, then do whatever. Cool. High five. Well done.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Frankly, just don't be that guy that goes over and immediately insults someone's army. Go over.
We had this episode of Touching Base already.
Yeah, we did. That's what it really comes down to. Just don't be that. You can.
No, I think it's cool. Don't get me wrong. That's cool. Go for it. If you want to do that, go for it. James, are you trying to tell us that's what you want to do? Because if you're trying to get permission, go for it.
I'm not. I don't need permission from you. And
yes, you do.
That's not what I'm trying to do. I just want to get your take on it because oftentimes these people are very vocal about how inaccurate you are and what you're doing is.
I think one thing that it reminds me of is first, just to basically answer your question, is I feel like again, if kudos to you if you want to do it. There's really no crazy way of saying that. If you want to go the extra mile and make all of your Space Marines true scale, then go for it. Go at it. I think going, that's not how a chainsword would look in that time period is kind of pushing it. But, that's cool if that's what you like, but don't try and convince me to remodel my models to fit your criteria of what they should look like. Then,
exactly.
So it's, if you want, more power to you. Another thing with that is also with pronunciations. You guys know, I pronounce a lot of
pronunciations.
Yeah, you even said you are the epitome of hyperbole, as in you pronounce everything wrong.
You did that with this microphone.
Sorry, I remember that.
Oh my god, I pronounce with your own.
I pronounce the names of a lot of 40K terms incorrectly.
Yes, you do. We've given up on correcting you.
I try not to correct you on fictional stuff because it's fictional stuff.
But that's the thing. It's I was actually just reading this whole thing. Everyone was going because I'm doing a whole Eldar series to get ready for the Eldar pre-release pre-order, and so I went and decided, okay, what's the general consensus on how you pronounce some of the Eldar craft world names? Because a lot of people do call me out on it, and I found it interesting how they're people are going, oh well, here we pronounce it this way, oh here we pronounce it this way, and such. So it seems like it's one of those things also at that front, with half these spelled out names, it seems they're kind of pronounced they're spelt in such a way where how do you declare what is the proper pronunciation? A good example is the Chaos Demons. How do you say Zenich? And how everyone always calls me out by saying that I say Zenich and not Zenich. Or
I just say Zinch. But honestly, the only indicator we could possibly have for the open quotes, correct close quotes pronunciation would be if an official source, such as the guys who work for Games Workshop, say, come out and say this is how it's pronounced. That would be the only real way. Sort of like how when Harry Potter was still a thing and nobody knew how to pronounce Hermione, and then the movies came out, and then there was also a part in what was it, the fourth book?
Chamber of
No, it was the fourth book. It was Goblet of Fire, where she's trying to teach Crumb how to pronounce that would be the equivalent of what would have to happen for me to consider an official pronunciation for some of these things. Granted, there may be some pronunciations that feel more natural, but that's neither here. I don't think Zenich is correct or even graceful, but I'm not going to tell you it's wrong because I've not had a Games Workshop employee call me up and be yo, bro, it's totally Zinch.
Surprisingly, with that, what's going on? You remember Bob?
Yes, I remember Bob.
Which Bob?
Actually,
which Bob?
What?
Which Bob?
Hofstra.
Yeah, Bob, Bob?
Yeah, like I said, I'd rather not.
40K. He actually did say once that he did talk to, he was at a convention, and one of the right
things, though.
Yes, but I'm just saying, this is something that seems a little bit more plausible for me. that he did meet one of the writers of the Chaos Codex was there, and he went, "So how do you pronounce Zanich's name?" And he goes, "Heck if I know."
Yeah, because sometimes they don't make them. They don't really put the idea of pronunciation in mind.
Like, I don't trust that guy, though. Like, that guy said a lot of things that he was just flat out lying about.
You don't have to trust him, but the fact remains that half of these things, because this isn't a linguistics game.
It's true. It's not a linguistics game. And in fact, any game based on linguistics would probably be boring.
Like, and the way that it's spelled...
Probably. Or frustrating, at the very least.
With the way that it's spelled, I can believe the writer just spelling a word and then going, "Heck if I know how you say that."
Yeah. And
like
that goes...
in War Machine, Asphyxius. Everyone for the longest time just decided to call him Gatsby because they couldn't figure out how to pronounce his name.
That's a better name for him.
What?
I think Gatsby's a great name.
Wait, whoa. Who were they calling Gatsby?
Iron Lich Asphyxius. Remember I showed you his card name? I was like, believe this
somebody type that in the chat. Somebody type that in the chat box, and I'll give it a shot.
Well, I showed it to you
but it
once,
doesn't sound anything like Gatsby.
Well, that was the thing, is that I did show you his name once when you were at Grimm, and you're like, yeah, that's Asphyxius. And then...
I want to take another look, though.
Here, I'm sending it to you right now.
Because because I was talking to my friend who was a press ganger at the time, he's like, yeah, everybody just calls him Gatsby.
Yeah, it's asphyxious, like asphyxiate, like suffocate.
Yeah.
Clear as purple crayon.
Yeah, I get it.
It's clearer than purple crayon.
Yeah, like a lot of people used to just call him Gatsby because they couldn't figure out how to pronounce his name.
I think Gatsby's a great name for him.
Now, I wonder do they call him Gatsby just because it was the first name that came to mind, or is it an actual Great Gatsby reference? Like, is this particular character, really just like underwhelmed by the jazz era? Like,
no.
Is he Lich Lord staring out the window wistfully while everyone's partying on the other side of the room? Like,
he might be.
Well, we don't know that. There's not enough of the Lord for us to
has anyone
figure
here seen the movie yet?
No.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna confess something that's very difficult for me to confess. I talk a big game, and I talk about the themes and stuff, but I've never actually read The Great Gatsby.
I never read it either. I read bits and pieces, but it was that time in high school where they were they wanted you to read 6 chapters out in a day, and I couldn't do that.
Yeah. Fortunately, at that point, we did that in junior year, and I was not in honors English at that point. I was in Regents for all the dumb kids. I was the super genius. It was
great
too.
One of the reasons I don't necessarily want to see the movie is because I haven't read the book yet.
I've seen enough reviews of it that I got the idea.
It's not a hard
idea to get.
It's not a complicated concept.
I heard that people said the characters felt really shallow, and I'm like, oh great, they did it right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I want to watch it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's one of the whole points.
I'm pretty sure I had to read it in high school, but it was one of those things where I was so underwhelmed because it wasn't a book I wanted to read that I honestly don't remember a freaking thing about it.
Speaking of books we did read in high school, I have never finished The Catcher in the Rye.
I finished that book, and I really enjoyed Catcher in the Rye.
I felt like a real phony, though.
I tried to read it in 6th grade, I tried to read it in 7th grade, they eventually assigned it in 11th grade or 10th grade or whatever, and I tried to read it again in senior year. I've never gotten past...
You tried to read it before it was assigned?
Yeah, because my brother had it, because he was older than me. So, long story short, I never got past chapter 2. I just can't. I don't care. I hate the
It's not a good book. I don't care what anybody says. Catcher in the Rye.
I enjoyed the hell of that book. But it's just a book. It's not. To me, even the great classics of literature, it's just a book to me.
Well,
I really don't care.
Let's be honest. Catcher in the Rye made what's his nose shoot John Lennon.
What?
Huh?
The guy who shot John Lennon. When he was at trial, he had in his hand through the whole trial case a copy of Catcher in the Rye.
Well, yeah, that may have been something he held, but let's not blame any form of media on murder. Because it's not Catcher in the Rye that made him do it. It's his mental illness being the kind of person who would shoot another person.
Yeah.
That's like saying violent video games made him shoot John Lennon.
No.
Media has nothing to do with it.
It's a very tasteless joke that I made when I was in high school because I hated that book.
Okay. Well, no. The thing is, it's just an inaccurate joke because Catcher in the Rye. It didn't make me want to shoot someone else. It made me want to shoot myself. having to read that book, I was just like, oh, it was painful.
It was one of the few books I enjoyed for the high school reads. It was like one of the few that I actually enjoyed.
You would enjoy that.
I did.
You're a bad person.
No, I'm the best person. There's a difference.
Not true. It's impossible.
I don't know. Of all the people on
your
this
feelings,
podcast,
you know it to be true.
I just want to say James is my favorite person on the podcast, personally.
That's because...
I'm not gonna...
He gives you
Real quick,
thanks.
I'm gonna answer my own question I posed. I feel like I should be the guy who posed it.
Yeah, it's probably...
Oh, I'd be just a poser.
Yeah, so,
Pun.
I think it's great when people take the extra mile for anything. Like, if you want to put SWAT indicator markings and hazard things and put, caution, load here or don't open when hot, whatever it is for whatever, it's great. If you want to do it to your army, that's great. I strive to make things look as good as I can with my terrible skill. So, I don't do the crazy little things. And there are certain things that I agree with. I think any model in any game should be WYSIWYG, just because it makes it easier on everybody. If you have two guys with the same gun, but one guy's got like a death ray and the other guy's got a normal gun, that's not cool and not fair. So, I understand that. And if you're going to paint a particular faction, paint it in the faction's color. Blood Angels don't wear white with polka dots that are orange. They're red. Unless it's one of their successors. They're not Blood Angels, they're the successors. So yes, paint them the appropriate color. Whatever. But, that's you. Everybody has their take differently. And as we've all said, there's no need to go, well, that's an inaccuracy that is too beyond me to even talk about, and then, put down people.
The worst experience I ever had with that, and just by worst I mean just like the one where I just was like, where did you feel that you had the right to like kind of say that, was when I first did my Mechanicum army. Now, I looked at the only picture that I found at the time, which was the Battlefleet Gothic ship, and it was black and red. So I was like, oh, okay, the Mechanicum colors are black and red. So
they are.
Yeah, but they're more pure red than anything.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I painted my Imperial Guardsmen black pants and shoes and red armor. And one guy saw it, and he looks up and goes, oh, how cute, the Inquisition. And I'm like, actually, no, this is a Mechanicum army. He's like, well, you painted it wrong. And I was like, who are you to say, there's red, there's black, it's Mechanicum. You have no right to tell me I painted my army wrong.
Yeah, and that's true. And with pronunciation of certain things, if it's something weird and wacky, it depends how they wrote it because it's weird and wacky. In fact, I showed the vet one of the names for one of the Robotech models for the Zentradi. The name is so long and annoying and really kind of dumb, especially because they never mentioned that any of the Zentradi is by name as far as mechs go. That the pilots, the humans pilot Valkyries, the Veritas fighters, Valkyries, whatever. But there's never a mention aside from Battle Pod for Zentradi stuff. So then you see the names written out, and who's to say that if you're pronouncing it incorrectly in that case or in any case, Especially when it's got 17 letters and 14 of them are consonants.
And speaking of just going off of, I was wondering if you guys could give me your input into, like, later at the end of this podcast, because I won't trouble everyone with that, is the pronunciation of the Craft World names.
Sure.
I can do a couple of them right now.
Well, I have a list right here I was going to post. If you want, here, there's the list.
Take a look.
The way I usually do it is I usually go Altok, Beltan, Iaden, Samhan, and Uthway.
Alright, you want me to give it a shot?
Go
right ahead.
Alright.
I'm curious.
I'm going to go with Alatuk, Bieltan, Ianden, Samhain, and Ulfwe. You're close on most of them. They're weird.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you on them, and I know with the Bieltane or Beltane, however you want to say it, is what's that?
Probably Bieltan.
Bieltan, right? Or Bieltan.
Or Bieltan. It might be Bieltan.
Samhain or Samhain or Samhan. After that, Ulfwe's the only other one I'm sure of.
It might be. The thing is, the problem with like Samhan or whatever it is, it looks a lot like the word Samhain.
Well, so Bieltane, it looks a lot like Beltane, and both of them are based off of. Well, you and I know what they're based off of. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, The
Don't look at me like
thing
we're
is,
friends.
I don't know what game it was. I don't know if it was a game or if it was actually something I watched from, that was like a Forge World thing or whatever. I forget. But I don't want to say it. They're not official pronunciations for any of this stuff. But,
Right, yeah. No, I was just guessing.
But it's so like I think the first one's like Altiok. I think from what I heard, because that's actually one of the Dawn of War games. That's the only reason why I think it's Altiok.
In Retribution, they pronounce Uthwe, and
yeah, it's Uthwe.
I never remember how they do Altiok.
I think it's Altiok, and I think Uthwe. I go San Ain because it looks too much like it for me not to. It's like
exactly.
I think it's
right, yeah, that's what I was just saying.
I usually call him Sam Man.
I say Yandon, and what was the other one?
Biltan or Beeltan.
I go Beeltan. That's how I go with that one. I just call them Beetlejuice.
Someone should make a Beeltan army and make them all look like Jessica Biel.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure it's Altiok. Altiok and Uthwe, I think, are like the only official pronunciations for Ola because they've been in games. And I think a game based on the intellectual property is official enough for me.
Because usually they have to, like, they would most likely go to Games Workshop to go, now, is this how you say that?
Yeah, I will say that just because they pronounce it a certain way in the game or a movie doesn't mean it's the right way to say it, though, sometimes, because there are plenty of movies that mispronounce how things are said.
Yeah, but the difference is this is a game made
I know what you're talking about.
Permission. So, therefore, I take that. So you have to know a little bit of the background and stuff. And these games weren't just fly-by-night. GW had an active hand in them. So that's why I accept that. But really, in all honesty, if you want me to accept pronunciation of anything, the only thing I accept is the Elven language in Lord of the Rings, because it's got a whole thing for it. He made up a language completely.
Oh, it's
that's
so...
Yeah. That and Dothraki in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
they sat down and developed that with Martin, so...
Aside from something like that, all bets are off for anything else. Unless you actually, even town names, we have an alphabet. We don't really have Cal language broken down. We have an alphabet. Whip-de-doo-dah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean...
They refuse to give us the Cal language because we can't pronounce it in our human tongue.
Yeah, blah-de-blah. A.k.a. too lazy to do it. So...
Indeed.
Unless you can become a Tolkien and actually do it, and make the language or the element, I don't follow you with those. But if you have an actual language documentation done in the proper way for linguistics, then I'll accept you saying this is the proper thing 100%. Because in all honesty, aside from that, all bets are off.
My favorite is still Klingon. But I'm having trouble saying that race's name today.
Klingons?
Yes. Like, the whole day, like, I usually say it right, but for some reason it's the word of the day that I can't pronounce.
Why are you saying Klingon so often today? What are you not telling us?
Because I was talking to people about the movie.
You traitor to mankind.
You, excuse me, if we're talking about Klingons, we're talking about Batak's here.
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
What?
I insulted you. In Klingon.
What? In response, I don't care. What you would say to that.
No, in response is what?
You know. Hey, listen, I think it will draw me in a laugh if I say out loud that Wolf's head looks like a fanny.
Yes, I think I would.
Wolf's head looks like a fanny.
Oh, you can just suck my ridges.
Oh, I
you missed he's like, oh, knock it off, Rocky Dennis.
Wow, I forgot there was a Mask reference in there.
Yep.
Jeez.
That is a depressing movie, by the way.
It is. But good.
Guys, I think this is probably one of our most random podcasts of podcasts. We brought The Catcher in the Rye into this.
Yeah, and The Great Gatsby.
Didn't you have like a friend or know someone that had like a Holden Caulfield like tattoo or something?
What?
No.
That's it.
Can you guys hear me?
You're kind of close. Oh, that just sounded weird.
Take the microphone out of your mouth.
Well, they couldn't hear me.
They still can't hear me. Oh, okay, there's a super lag. Oh my god, now I'm hearing your sentence after you said your sentence.
Guys?
I can hear you.
Hi.
No, You're very soft now, and I heard that you put your microphone in your mouth.
So, Fearless Gamers, let it be approach it. Don't put the microphone in the mouth.
If you're ever doing a podcast.
Until next time, Fearless Gamers, take care.
I think that's done.
Oh my god.
This is a really, I'm kind of proud of us for the randomness.
I hate
the
all of you.
randomness is what makes good music.
I thought Daft
don't
Punk
know.
is what makes good music.
No.
By the way, Daft Punk's new album is awesome.
I'm sure
Just
it is, but they're not what makes good music. I mean, they have the ability to do it.
Oh,
that's true.
Random thing, Matt. I just thought this was weird. I was watching. I read your Facebook stats where you couldn't tell if you weren't sure if you should be ashamed because you're jamming to some band
Thrift
or something.
Shop. God,
Thrift Shop.
I love that song.
I sat there
Thrift Shop.
when you're listening there. I was like, so he's hanging out at thrift shops? What?
Which is also awesome.
Well, you know, man's got to do what a man's got to do.
I love thrift shops.
You know, I'm gonna pop some tags. I only got $20 in my pocket.
Got $20 in
Don't.
No? Okay.
Don't.
I was gonna stop it there. I wasn't even gonna go into notes with it. But then this one
You know
over
what?
here is just like, I'm gonna try and be all music, man.
But I just want
76 trombones, like.
go marching down the road, yeah. What of it? What of it?
It's tough
I love
to
the
hold
trombone.
76 trombones. It's tough to hold all 76.
It is tough to hold all 76. I had problems holding one, but then again, I was in middle school, and it's really not cool to have an instrument that's bigger than you. Can I just say that?
It's totally cool. That's the coolest thing ever. It's like you have heavy artillery then.
I need you to save me. I'm
It's
stuck in
loud.
this room with him. I'm stuck in this room with him, and I need someone to help me.
Well, you got a
Somebody
problem there
help me.
because we're all out of distance to help you.
He's looking at me.
I'm
won't-
looking at him.
He won't stop looking. He's coming over here. I'm so scared.
Hello.
Oh my god. He's getting away.
I haven't touched you yet.
You guys are causing mic interference with each other, but do it.
Come here, let's touch Mike. Hold on.
Oh, that's gonna be bad. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, it was a little.
Don't cross the street.
I don't even think I heard a thump. Was that?
It was a little intimate, but.
It was. We touched mics. That's
Mouth,
awkward.
by the way.
Oh god, you're right. Ew. I forgot.
That's the best place.
Don't cross the streams.
What? Stone Cold. I heard you say Stone Cold.
He said don't cross the streams.
Stone Cold.
Steve Austin?
Stone Cold.
Thank you.
Really quick, I want to thank the one commentator of ours that offered to let us come to his morgue if you ever go to England.
Yes.
Yes. I
They're
actually
awesome.
will remember to take you up on that. Should
Okay,
I?
no,
we all
don't
will.
start saving now because we're going to a morgue in England. I don't really know why that's exciting.
It's
So one of our future
Can I
podcasts
be
is held
part-
live on location.
Guy who works at a morgue in England. If we show up, can I play Pokemon cards on top of a dead body? Will you let me do that? Let me know in the comments.
if yes, you'll bring a deck for you so you can play with him. It's only fair.
Well, yeah. I'll have more than one deck. I mean, but you know.
Or we
guessing
can
what-
reenact this, or we can reenact the scene from Men in Black.
That is a fun scene. Can I be Mr.
Which scene?
First
where
one,
like
where they're in the
or-
morgue.
Yeah. No?
I think it's funnier if we like get some fishing wire and a pulley system and reenact into Bernie's.
I didn't really like Weekend at Bernie's.
You're a bad person. You didn't like Weekend at
Wait.
Get out. Get out of my house. You didn't like Weekend at
Pump
Bernie's.
the brakes.
Get out.
Pump the brakes.
What?
All I got from this is that at some point in the future, there's going to be a podcast held from a morgue in England.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what?
That's all I got.
That we'll get this guy a microphone. We'll get him a Fearless Games T-shirt. If we have T-shirts,
Wait,
We'll
we have
have
t-shirts?
t-shirts.
We'll make one.
We'll come up
Just
with
for him.
like a goofy nickname for him, like we have for ourselves, like I don't know, the morgue guy.
It's terrible.
Wow, that was real.
Well,
real.
so is the Star Lord.
The Starkwood is bad.
See,
I'm not going to disagree.
So wait. I want to make sure we all are in agreement that this is happening at some point in the future.
Yeah, if we can afford it, like, yeah, why not?
Okay, I'm making sure. Because I don't want to be the only.
I might vomit.
You might vomit.
I've not really been around a dead body before, so like there are a number of reactions that might happen. All of them equally embarrassing.
The worst part is we won't be able to tell if you're like getting sick because you're already so pale because you're sick.
Wait, what if you actually get
believe it or not, I get paler.
Is that when you turn like that translucent blue like you did that one time?
No.
That was so weird.
Still don't know what caused that.
I think that was the lighting.
I missed that one.
It wasn't the lighting.
I was sitting in a diner and I turned blue for no reason.
Yeah, and like I'm talking like blue cheese blue.
Smurf blue.
Not that blue,
yeah.
but blue.
I was blue.
You were definitively blue.
You take a chunk of real blue cheese. The blue in there is the blue he was turning, and it wasn't the light because when we left that, he was still blue.
That's true.
And I stayed blue, and like I woke up the next day and I wasn't blue anymore. But to this day, no idea why. I still don't know.
If there's any fearless gamers who are doctors, like not just
tell
us your theories.
What?
Because you don't have any theories.
Oh.
If any fearless gamers are doctors.
Stop it.
Okay, he keeps putting
it's feeding time, alright?
We should end this until he eats his microphone.
That's how we know we've gone far
how
enough. Is when the clown starts putting things in his mouth.
Hey, that I usually. There's a joke in there. I'm not going to tell because we try to be family friendly.
Yes, we do.
Ask your mom and daddy what I mean.
So, what are we asking the fearless gamers this time?
What are we asking the fearless gamers this time?
I had a question I forgot when I remembered the morgue thing.
All right, so basically, fearless gamers, let us know your thoughts on the whole, ship size between Star Trek, Star Wars, and BFG, and the whole idea of river towning. Are you one of the people who like to be hyper accurate, which is cool, or do you just go, hey, as long as it looks close enough, I'm cool? And if you want to comment on anything else, of course, and that's the question.
Question that will help us lead into discussion for next time. Fearless gamers, what is your favorite dinosaur?
That's a good one.
Yes,
that's a good one.
So tell us your favorite dinosaurs.
This
mine is?
No, don't tell us. That's next week.
Next
week we'll discuss that.
Next week, all right?
Shut up.
I'm messing everything up, Star Wars, okay? I'm sick and tired of it. And just so you fearless gamers know, the whole dinosaur thing might start a fight. Just so you know.
It really will start a fight because we all love dinosaurs here.
Yeah, I'm already getting ready to cut the Stark Lord.
I already know at least two of us here wanted to be paleontologists when we were children.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, but yeah, I guess I have one more thing to say, fearless gamers.
One thing.
And that there are only 3 kinds of people in the world: people who can count and people who can't. So until next time, take care.
Peace.
He's hanging up right now. He's done.